In a quiet town, not very big and not very small, there lived a man named Daniel. He was 30 years old, but he often felt much older. Every day he walked the same street to the same small shop where he worked. The shop sold bread, milk, and simple things for daily life. Daniel's job was to put the food on the shelves, clean the floor, and help customers when they needed something. It was honest work, but it did not make his heart feel alive. He earned just enough money to pay his rent and buy food, but never enough to save for the future. His clothes were simple, his days were the same, and his evenings were very quiet. When he came home from work, he usually sat alone in his small room. He sometimes watched television, sometimes read an old book, but often he just stared at the ceiling and wondered what the meaning of his life was. He thought about the years passing, one after another, and he asked himself if this was everything. Was life only about working, eating, and sleeping? Inside, he felt a strong emptiness, like a hole that nothing could fill. He dreamed of something bigger, something more important, but he did not know what it was or how to find it. Daniel often told himself, maybe one day something will change. Maybe one day a chance will come. But day after day, nothing changed. People in town knew him as a quiet man, kind but invisible. He was not bad, not lazy, not unkind. He was simply ordinary, and being ordinary felt like being lost. He began to believe that maybe he was not meant for more, that maybe life would always stay the same. And yet, deep inside his heart, there was still a very small light. That light was hope. It was weak, but it was not gone. It told him in a quiet voice, perhaps one decision, one moment, could change everything. He did not know when or how, but he carried that thought with him like a secret flame in the dark. Daniel's mornings always began in the same way. His alarm clock rang at 6 o'clock, the same sharp sound every day. He sat up slowly, rubbed his eyes, and looked around his small room. The wallpaper was old, the paint was fading, and the furniture was second-hand. There was a bed, a chair, and a table. On the table, there was usually a half-finished cup of tea from the night before. Daniel washed his face in cold water, put on the same work clothes, and walked to the shop. The walk took 15 minutes, and along the way, he saw the same people every day, the old woman watering flowers, the children running to school, the bus driver starting his route. Everyone seemed busy, everyone seemed to know where they were going. Daniel smiled politely when people greeted him, but inside he felt like he was walking in circles. At the shop, his boss gave him simple tasks. Clean the shelves, Daniel. Carry these boxes. Help the customers. He did everything without complaint, but he felt no pride, no excitement. Sometimes he looked at the people buying bread and milk, and he wondered if their lives were also like his, ordinary, quiet, without meaning. But when he looked into their eyes, he saw something different. He saw parents holding children, workers rushing to their jobs, students laughing with friends. They all seemed to have a purpose, even if it was small. Daniel felt like he was standing outside of life, watching others live. At lunch break, he usually sat in the back of the shop with a sandwich. He ate quickly, then returned to work. Time moved slowly, and by evening, he felt tired, though not from hard work but from the weight of sameness. When the shop closed, Daniel walked home again, passing the same streets, the same lights, the same shadows. He unlocked his door, stepped inside his small room, and sat down. Another day was finished, and tomorrow would look exactly the same. He thought to himself, is this all? Is this everything that life has for me? Sometimes. Jeff knew that setting up a website was not easy. He had to choose a name, design pages, and list books. He spent days thinking. Amazon, he decided, after the river. It sounded big, strong, and powerful. He wrote code for the website and uploaded the first books. Every title had a description and a price. He worried that no one would visit. In the 1990s, buying online was unusual. People liked bookstores and shelves. Jeff had to convince them that the internet was safe. He wrote letters, called friends, and explained how easy it was to order. He wanted the first customers to trust him. Every small detail mattered: packaging, delivery, and friendly service. The internet was new, and Jeff faced many challenges. Sometimes the website crashed. Sometimes customers were slow to pay. Sometimes he worried if anyone would buy at all. People laughed at him. "You are crazy. Who will buy books online?" they said. But Jeff continued. Every mistake was a lesson. Every problem was an opportunity. He fixed the website, answered emails carefully, and learned from his errors. His dream felt fragile, but also exciting. He knew that the first order could change everything. He just had to wait and be ready. Every day, Jeff checked the website. He watched the number of visitors grow slowly. Some days, no one came at all. He felt nervous, anxious, but also hopeful. Will someone buy a book today? He asked himself. He imagined a small package being sent to a customer. A book leaving his garage and reaching someone's home. It seemed impossible, but he believed it could happen. He talked to his small team, encouraged them, and prepared for the moment. Every step, every click, was a step toward his dream. One morning, Jeff saw a message on his computer. A customer had bought a book. He could hardly believe it. His heart raced. It worked. Someone believes in the idea, he shouted. His team smiled and hugged him. The first Amazon order was real. A small book was being sent across the country. For Jeff, it was more than a sale. It was proof that dreams could become reality. He felt joy, excitement, and relief. He knew that this was only the beginning. The first order was small, but it carried a huge message: the dream was possible. Jeff remembered that day for the rest of his life. The garage was full of noise, laughter, and excitement. He felt proud, but also humble. The first sale was not just money, it was trust. A person somewhere believed in his idea. Jeff thought about the future. He imagined hundreds, then thousands, of orders. He imagined Amazon growing beyond the garage, reaching millions of people. Every problem before that moment felt worth it. The first order was proof that courage, hope, and hard work could create something amazing. Jeff smiled and wrote in his notebook, "This is just the beginning." But he never thought about quitting. He believed in the dream too much. Every small success gave him strength. When he felt weak, he remembered the first order. That memory reminded him that big things grow from small beginnings. Even as Amazon grew, Jeff still faced doubts. Some people said, "It will never last. Bookstores are stronger. People like to touch books before buying." Others said, "The internet is just a trend. It will disappear." Jeff listened but did not agree. He thought about history. Many great inventions were doubted in the beginning. The car, the telephone, the airplane, all faced criticism. He told himself, every big idea begins as a small and strange idea. When he felt tired, he repeated this to his team. It became a source of courage. Amazon was still small, but it had a future. Jeff knew that mistakes were part of the journey. Sometimes the website crashed because too many people visited. Sometimes orders got lost in the mail. Sometimes books were damaged. Customers complained, and Jeff listened carefully. He did not hide problems. Instead, he tried to learn. Each mistake became a lesson. He improved the website, changed packaging, and made the process smoother. He believed that mistakes were not failures. They were opportunities to grow. His team began to feel the same. Every time something went wrong, they asked, "What can we learn from this?" Slowly, Amazon became stronger. At first, Amazon sold only a small number of books. But as orders grew, Jeff added more and more titles. Customers were happy to find books they could not see in local stores. A person in a small town could now order a rare book from across the country. This made Amazon special. People felt excited when they discovered books they had always wanted but could never find. The list of books grew larger every week. Jeff dreamed of a day when Amazon could offer every book ever printed. The idea sounded impossible, but so did the first order. The Amazon team was still small, but they worked like a family. Everyone had many jobs. One person answered emails, packed boxes, and also fixed the website. Another person carried packages, talked to customers, and made lists. Jeff did everything too. He did not act like a boss who only gave orders. He packed boxes with tape, carried books, and cleaned the garage floor. His team respected him for that. They were not working just for money. They were working for a dream. Together, they believed they could change the way the world shopped. Soon, other businesses noticed Amazon. Some bookstores started their own websites. They had more money, more workers, and more books. Jeff worried but did not give up. He told his team, "We are different. We care about customers more than anyone else. If we stay focused, we will succeed." He understood that competition was natural. It made them stronger. Instead of copying others, Jeff focused on improving Amazon every day. He believed that customers would choose the company that treated them best. After some time, the small garage was too full. Boxes covered the floor. Books were piled high. The team had no space to move. Jeff realized they needed a bigger place. They rented a warehouse. It was cold and empty at first, but Jeff smiled. He remembered the first garage and thought, "We have grown." The warehouse became the new home of Amazon. It was still small compared to big companies, but it felt like a huge step forward. The dream was growing beyond the garage. Every step was hard, but every step mattered. Jeff learned that success was not about speed. It was about persistence. Some days were exciting, with many orders and happy customers. Some days were frustrating, with problems and delays. But Jeff and his team never stopped. They believed in the vision. They remembered the first order, the small moment that changed everything. It was proof that dreams could become real. Persistence, courage, and belief carried them forward. Amazon was no longer just an idea. It was a living company, born from one surprising order. As Amazon grew, new challenges appeared. The website sometimes crashed because too many people visited at once. The warehouse was busy, and mistakes happened. Books were sent to the wrong address. Customers became angry. Jeff felt pressure. He worried about disappointing people. But instead of giving up, he worked harder. He created systems to check every order. He trained his team to double-check addresses and packaging. Slowly, mistakes became fewer. He realized that problems never stopped, but solutions never stopped either. Each challenge was a chance to improve. Jeff often reminded his team, "We cannot control everything, but we can always control how we respond." That lesson became part of Amazon's spirit. Jeff believed that technology was the key to growth. He invested time in building a stronger website. He wanted it to be fast, simple, and safe. Customers should feel comfortable when they clicked buy. He added search tools so people could find books easily. He created a system where customers could write reviews. This was new at the time. Some people laughed at the idea. Why let customers write? They might complain. But Jeff believed in honesty. He thought that reviews built trust. People liked reading other people's opinions before buying. This made Amazon different from bookstores. Slowly, the website became a place not just to buy, but to share experiences. Books were only the beginning. Jeff dreamed of something bigger. He wanted Amazon to be the everything store. He told his team, "If we can sell books, we can sell anything." At first, they added music and movies. Then came electronics, toys, and more. Customers were surprised. They thought Amazon was only about books, but suddenly they could buy many things. Some people laughed again. "You cannot sell everything," they said. But Jeff believed it was possible. Each new product brought new customers. Each step moved Amazon closer to his dream. The idea sounded impossible, but so did selling books online in the beginning. Paragraph 24, Critics and Believers. As Amazon grew, critics also grew louder. Newspapers wrote articles saying Amazon would fail. Business experts said Jeff was wasting time and money. Some investors were afraid. They told him to slow down. But Jeff stayed calm. He listened, but he did not stop. At the same time, there were also believers, customers who loved Amazon, employees who worked with passion, and investors who saw the future. Jeff focused on them. He often said, "It is day one for the internet." He meant that the journey was just beginning, and there was so much more to do. His belief inspired others to keep going. Paragraph 25, Looking back at the first order. Years later, when Amazon became famous, Jeff often remembered the first order. It was a small moment, but it carried a big meaning. That one book proved that people were willing to trust a new idea. It gave courage to continue. Jeff told his employees, "Never forget our first customer." Without that order, none of this would exist. The memory of the first order reminded everyone that success comes from small beginnings. Even the largest companies start with a single step, a single dream, a single act of courage. Jeff learned many lessons on the road to success. He learned that risk is necessary for growth. He learned that customers must always come first. He learned that mistakes are teachers, not enemies. Most of all, he learned that big dreams begin with small actions. The garage, the late nights, the first order, all of it was part of the journey. He wanted others to understand that success is not magic. It is hard work, persistence, and faith in the future. These lessons became the foundation of Amazon and also the foundation of Jeff's life. Jeff's story inspired many people. Young entrepreneurs saw that it was possible to start small and grow big. Students saw that learning and dreaming could create real change. Families saw that shopping online was easy and safe. Around the world, people began to think differently about business and technology. Jeff showed that courage could open doors, and belief could move mountains. His journey was not only about books or websites. It was about the power of dreams. If one person in a small garage could change the world, then maybe anyone could. The most powerful lesson from Amazon's story is simple: big things start small. The first order was only one book. The first office was only a garage. The first team was only a few friends. But from those small steps came something huge. This is true in life, not just in business. Every success begins with a single action. Every journey begins with a single step. Jeff often told people, "Don't be afraid to start. Even if your idea seems small, it can grow into something amazing." The world is full of small beginnings waiting to surprise us. For English learners, for dreamers, for anyone starting something new, Jeff's story is a message of hope. You may feel that your steps are small. You may feel that progress is slow. But small steps are not useless. They are the foundation of success. Every word you learn, every sentence you practice, is like the first order for Amazon. It may seem small, but it carries the power of the future. Learning takes time. Dreams take time. But with persistence, they can grow beyond your imagination. The story of the first Amazon order teaches us that courage, hope, and belief can change everything. A single book in a small garage opened the door to a new world. It surprised everyone. It inspired millions. And it showed that no dream is too small to begin. As you listen and read this story, remember, your first step matters. Your first word, your first idea, your first action, it can surprise the world. Like Amazon, your journey may begin small, but it can grow big. Believe, start, and keep going. Every first step can change your life. Every first step can surprise the world.